There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
What's going on, everybody? Mike Macabre. Welcome to Macabre Mass, where we not only talk monsters, we make monsters. And some more news has came out about the Halloween television series, you guys. So the article is from Bloody Disgusting, which is an extremely reliable source when it comes to horror. So let's discuss this real quick. So the main part of this, it says the foundation of it is the original film, the John Carpenter movie, the characters of that film, and perhaps a group of characters that we haven't really focused on that much in the recent film versions or even in a number of them. It's a creative reset, completely and going back to the original film as opposed to spinning out any of the more recent film adaptations. So this, I mean, obviously this makes me happy, and at the same time, worries me a little bit too, and I'll explain why. So it makes me happy that they're using the original film as the basis, and they're working from that, because obviously that is the superior story and the superior film. So a lot of us, that's what we would like to see anyway, rather than a spin-off or whatever from any of the other sequels or anything like that. So, how do I say this? I get this feeling. Of course, I have no idea if I'm correct or not. We have no idea yet, period, because it's not a whole lot to go on here. But my opinion is we're probably going to be getting a prequel story. Because I feel like, it says it's going back to the original film, a creative reset. They're going to be taking the characters from the original film, and it looks like they're going to be fleshing some of them out a little bit more. So to me, when I think about it, it sounds to me like we're talking prequel here, because if they're going to flesh out more of the characters from that original film, then chances are I feel like they're going to start, this might start in 63, you know perhaps maybe a couple of months before Halloween of 63, when young Michael killed Judith, So, I mean, I just get the feeling that's where it's going. And so I'm okay with this, but at the same time I'm worried, and it's like I say all the time, with the backstory and everything, we don't want that. So, I one thing this is what I feel would be super cool if they do. I mean, it's called Halloween. So I feel like one thing they can do to where if you want to tell a story and kind of go a different, or not even a different direction directly, but they could talk about the history of the holiday, kind of like Dr. Loomis did in Halloween 2 when he was in the back of the marshal's car and, talks about, the pagans and rituals and all that. So, I mean, I'm not talking get all Halloween 6 crazy here, but I think that would be a super interesting and neat concept for them to dive more into the holiday itself and the history of it. Maybe make it to where, Michael's parents were Irish, and it connects back to where, Halloween started with the Celtics and all that. That would be interesting. I'm down with that. I'm cool with that, you know. And as far as, because if they're going to tell a prequel type story and it has Judith and Michael's parents and everything, obviously you're going to have young Michael in it. And I'm okay with that so long as we don't see him talk, we don't see him interact. Like the last thing we need to see is like a Rob Zombie type situation where he has this terrible childhood. They can show young Michael and still maintain the mystique of the character if they play it to where his life is completely normal. He's got good parents. He lives in a decent neighborhood, right? That that I am okay with, so long as like you don't really show his face much and you don't see him talking. Like they could play it to where like Michael's parents are like maybe talking with somebody else about Michael, and they're like, we took him to the doctor and his vocal cords are fine. He just chooses not to talk, and he's kind of a loner and just kind of stays in his room all day amongst himself, doing whatever it is he's doing. That I am okay with, as long as that's how Michael is shown and perceived. Like, that he doesn't have some terrible life or anything. He has a regular, normal life. He doesn't talk, and it's not because he can't talk. He chooses not to talk, and he kind of sits amongst himself, because that still preserves the mystique of the character. You still have the wonder there. Even if you see a little bit of young Michael and everything, but when you see him, He doesn't say anything. He's not really interacting with anybody. He's just sitting off in his corner doing his thing. The mystique of the character will still be preserved at that point because you're not hearing him talk. You're not really seeing him interact. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, hopefully, what I'm saying makes sense. If they play it like that, at then I'm completely cool with the prequel story and going back to the original and fleshing out some of the other characters, to have it lead up to 1963 Halloween night. That I'm cool with and I'm okay with and would actually be interesting to see. And honestly, like I said, we don't want the backstory of Michael Myers, so I feel like the best thing you could do is really, like I said, to delve into the holiday, get into Halloween more, how Halloween started, everything with the Celtics and all that, and the sacrifice. Like, you could, like I said, not all Halloween 6 crazy, but you can discuss those things, kind of like how Loomis did in H2. But, yeah, man, really, I'm super curious how everybody else feels about this news and how you guys are feeling about this. Are you guys, with this new information, are you guys worried? Are you guys a little bit more excited? Like me, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm like, I'm excited, and at the same time, I'm still worried. Hopefully, the people involved, as long as the people involved understand, once again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but as long as they know to preserve the character of the boogeyman and not to, if you're going to do a whole backstory and prequel thing, that it's not about Michael and just about Haddonfield and the other people around it. And like I said, you just have young Michael doesn't talk and keeps to himself and whatever. That's cool, because that why question is still there. That why in the world did he do that is still there. Especially, it makes you wonder even more if he does have a regular life. Even more so, if he does have a good life and good parents and he just a quiet little loner, doesn't talk, it really still preserves, maybe even more so. Maybe even more so makes you ask the question like, damn, like, he has a great life here, Why did he do this, So that is what I hope they do, and I would be cool with the prequel story. I'm excited for it. I love period pieces. This is the one thing, too, though, they're very, very expensive. So if they're going to be filming something as it's in the 60s, they're going to have all 60s clothes, cars, gas station signs, the whole shebang. If you watch, kind of like when you watch Stranger Things, if you look in the background, you'll see things from the 80s. Like, just, it'll be like a Coke can or anything. But it'll be how it was in the 80s. Something like people really don't even see like that. That's off in the background. Like, they really go hard in the paint to make everything when it's a period piece, which is why it's so expensive to make. So if they're going to do a prequel type story based in the 60s or 70s, they're going to have to, excuse me, spend a lot of money, and the ratings are going to have to be really, really good for the show to maintain, to continue to keep going. Like, the original Halloween Kills script, was supposed to be a big, large chunk of it in the 70s, which would have been so awesome to get, because that was the best part of the whole trilogy, is the flashback scene they did. It was so good. It was so on point. So on point, man. David Gordon Green gets points for that one there. He did a great job, man. Can you imagine if Halloween Kills was like more than 50% in the 70s flashback? That would have been so dope. And so I think it'd be really dope to have a Halloween series in that way. Like I said, as long as the mystique of the boogeyman is preserved, we are good to go, people. But yeah, seriously, I really, really am curious to your guys' thoughts. If you're still watching, thank you so very much, man. Please hit the subscribe button for me. I super appreciate it. And leave a comment. I am so curious to the people who are watching. So curious to how you guys feel and what you guys want to see out of this show. I just want to kind of see if we're on the same page, if we have opposite opinions. I'm just super, super curious, man. So you guys drop a comment. Let me know how you feel, man. Once again, please hit that subscribe button. I super appreciate the support. Mike Macabre, till next time, signing out.